Oh man, it is that time again. Brandon's Commute, episode 3. Episode 3. Trust. This one is interesting. This is somewhat controversial, right? So I often bring these things up to the student workers that I supervise, right? I'm the manager of a basketball stadium, and I'm over the student workers. And so I'll bring up random questions or controversial subjects every once in a while. And this one is interesting. So I am of the opinion that there are many things. So there's many things I would get rid of in this world, right? That are just not realistic to get rid of at this point. So think about my first episode of Brandon's Commute. I talked about getting rid of cars. It's not realistic in this world, but wouldn't it be great? And so this one is a lot more realistic in a way. People always argue with me, but sometimes I break through and they end up agreeing. Shoes are bad. Shoes are bad for our feet. First off, let's go into the industry that creates shoes. I mean, when you talk about sweatshops and child labor, oftentimes it is these big companies who have these kids and these other poor individuals making shoes. So first off, that industry itself is just already, I think we can all agree, that's pretty bad. You know, it does create jobs in certain situations when, they're not, where people aren't forced into a small little factory or room or whatnot to create these shoes. But a lot of the time, these shoes aren't even good for our feet, because what we do is we're not intentional about keeping our streets clean or keeping sidewalks clean. We're not intentional about it. And so we use shoes to protect our feet, but in reality, shoes oftentimes hurt our feet. They got your feet squished into them like this. And personally, I know me and multiple other people, our pinky toes are like sideways. They're sideways because of shoes squishing our feet into this small little area. We don't build shoes around our feet. We put our feet inside the shoes and we build our feet around them. And so a lot of people get mad at me like, oh, that's disgusting, that's gross, blah, 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 blah. Feet are so nasty. What's nasty about them? Oh, they smell because they're inside the shoes. I feel like that's just like a no-brainer at this point. If shoes constantly make your feet smell, we should get rid of them, right? And don't get me wrong, I have shoes on as we speak. And I'm not saying we should outlaw or ban shoes. What I'm saying is it should be normal to not wear shoes. You know how much more intentional we would be with litter and trash and just making sure unsafe items on the street are not there, stuff that could hurt our feet. I feel like we would be so much more intentional. I mean, there's not a single other animal in this world, besides maybe horses because we made them, that wear shoes. We're the only ones. And everyone acts like, oh, it's so nasty because you're touching all that nasty stuff down there. What about our hands? You think germs are only on the floor? We wash our hands. Why not make it normal to wash your feet? I mean, look at the Bible. They'd be walking into each other's houses and they'd wash their feet off before they're going around and doing stuff. They'd take off their sandals, wash their feet. And sandals would not damage their feet. They don't force them into a space. I love Crocs, right? Crocs do not squish your feet if you get the right sizes. And so it makes so much sense to me for all shoes to be wider. I have a pair of Hokas on. My fiance could not understand why I was dropping $130 on a pair of shoes. My old shoes were hurting my feet, and then they were hurting my legs too. And eventually it goes from your legs to your back. Like you don't gimp out on your health. I don't know if that's the right word, but you don't cheap out when it comes to taking care of your body. I'm not saying you drop a bunch of money, right? Within reason, take care of your body. Brush your teeth. I know it sucks to, you gotta buy a toothbrush, toothpaste. Okay, maybe that's a bad example, but you get what I'm saying. Everyone should brush their teeth, and if you want to spend money on an expensive toothbrush because you find it more comfortable to take better care of your teeth than the next guy, go for it. I have a somewhat fancy toothbrush where you don't have to replace the toothbrush, you replace the head. So it saves me a lot of money, and it's a nice toothbrush. It's metal, And I feel like my hygiene is well taken care of, but that's not the point. The point is shoes, right? What we need to do is make it to where no, I shouldn't have to wear shoes at work just because it's weird if I don't. That shouldn't be a thing. It should not be weird to not wear shoes. You should have the option to wear shoes. I get like, if you're in a warehouse where, let's say you have to wear steel toe boots, that's because stuff is dangerous in there. But for me, half my day is spent in my office. I shouldn't have to wear shoes in the office. You know, there are times where I'll take my shoes off, I'll answer my office door, people are looking at me like, are you crazy? I'm in the comfort of my office. I don't need to wear my shoes. I wear them later when I'm downstairs working with heavy machines and materials, right? I mean, when my shoes and need to protect my feet, I will wear my shoes. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm not trying to preach at you. I'm not trying to judge you if your opinion is different than mine, but you should not judge me either for not wanting to wear shoes. I mean, everyone always says my body, my choice, right? It should be my choice to wear my shoes. You don't eat with your feet. Your feet stay on the ground. There's no orifices. There's no holes. They stay on the ground, so I don't get what's the problem with them getting dirty. You can wash them later. We take showers. But anyway, I mean, you can kind of just look at nature and the way that, like, I don't know when shoes were invented, but you got to think about it like, they can't have been invented that long ago. And landfills and trash and litter also was not invented that long ago. I mean, you look at the old days, right? Stuff was clean. Trash and landfills and you know, all this stuff that we just throw on the ground, that stuff did not exist until 200 years ago. And I mean, I'm not saying correlation equals causation, but there is a correlation of people who, when they know they need to protect their feet, they will be intentional about keeping the area safe. You know, they don't create an unsafe area and then the solution is to cover your feet up. What you need to do is make the area safe again. But yeah, a lot of people disagree with me because there's this weird stigma just about feet in general. I don't know why. I mean, I guess because of foot fetishes or whatever. Yeah, that's nasty, all right? I'll give it to you. It's weird. But having your feet be out and about and healthy is not. So, I'll get off my soapbox. It's episode 3 of Brandon's Commute. But, hey, if I could give anything to you and wrap it up, take care of your feet. Make sure you have quality shoes on. I'm not saying drop $300 on a pair of shoes. Get a pair of Hokas and get a pair of work shoes if you need. But take care of your feet. You will thank me in the long run. You will thank me. Adios.